talk about our next match coming up here. We have Muzzy versus Firebat coming up. It is a hunter versus a warrior. I've learned my lesson, okay? I've learned my lesson. Firebat's hunter, I am partial to because I played a lot of that hunter going into this week. Muzzy, on the other hand, he's going to need some help. Muzzy is also right behind Amnesiac at 4 and 7. If he gets a win here, he may be in contention for third place. Maybe, but he needs to beat Firebat. Firebat, of course, has the dubious honor of being uncontested last place right now. And if he wins, he could break a little bit of that. But I know Firebat and Soleil, both very competitive guys, but they're both streamers on OmniSlash. And I think being 3 and 9 apiece, last in their respective divisions, would not be something that they are proud of. In fact, it'd probably just be something that is a sore point for them.
Is there a chance for Firebat to qualify for playoffs as well? I think there is.
I don't think so. He can end 6 and 8.
Yeah, and PNC and StrifeCrow could also end 6 and 8.
Right,
everybody in this division, I think, could.
But the schedule may not allow that, right? Like, what if 2 players who are in there who are like if let's say they're both like 6 and 7 and they play, like one person has to be 7 and 7. We have to actually analyze the schedule.
Yeah,
it might be actually impossible for Firebat to win, but we'll find out.
Yeah, but we don't know for sure. So I'll take a look at the schedule during the match to see what the implications are for Division A. But it would because of StrifeCrow and PNC both taking losses in their second match this week. It made things more interesting because everybody in that middle of the standings can at least get up to the point where they can tie that. But
or at least spook them.
At least spook them. Yeah, that's right. But let's get into it. It's Rogue versus Hunter. Our only non-warrior matchup today.
Whew, what a hero, Firebat. Which is actually a play on the words of Firebat getting his name. He named himself after a StarCraft Brood War pro player called Firebat Hero.
Yep.
Just call himself Firebat.
Yeah. And we do a recap video each week called The Curve that recaps all the regions and gives you guys news. I think in the curve that we're recording this week, we'll probably talk about playoff implications.
I hope we do, because it's the last week.
Yeah, so check it out.
Who's going to do the curve?
I think it's Soddle this week doing the curve. Yeah, it is.
Sweet.
Sweet. Yeah,
Can't
I mean,
wait to
he's been having his cushy life over in the UK, just watching Grandmasters. About time he comes over here and gets his feet wet with the curve.
About time he shows up, you know.
We've all done it.
Was he gonna use the backstab with the evil miscreant to get bored? He had the option of SI7 agent, but the miscreant is better for because I don't think the 1 damage really matters here. Instead, improving the possibility of his plays. Ooh, Firebat getting the huffs.
Ooh, it's actually really interesting next week.
All right, well, I'll hold off on that for just a sec.
Oh no, but there's Firebat can qualify. He can make playoffs. I don't know how the tiebreakers work, but based on the schedule, he can make playoffs. StrifeCrow's matches next week are against Muzzy and Eddie, or Muzzy and Frozen. PNC plays Frozen and Eddie. So the top of the standings is playing the bottom of the standings. The only matchup of the people that are in the middle is Muzzy versus Firebat.
I'd be very shocked if Firebat makes it at 6 and 8. That would require the top of the divisions to just keep winning more if Firebat wins.
There is a chance for every player that's in Division A to go 6 and 8 based on the schedule.
But his has to be the lowest for sure.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But traditionally a kind of poor matchup for Firebat here.
Yeah, Rogue is considered to be very feast or famine against Hunter. Like, Hunter can sometimes add the pressure and be too much for the Rogue to come back because they don't heal. But Rogue is also so good at fighting back with all these tempo tools thanks to Lackeys and Spirit of the Shark.
Picks up Rat Trap, though, which is a very good card against Rogue, and oftentimes even put in as a tech card against Rogue specifically. Firebat even has a copy of Rat Trap in his tertiary deck, which is probably a Rogue tech deck.
Gotcha. So finds a Portal Keeper. It's a 5/2 just for the damage. It's pretty solid in itself, but Firebat has Wing Blast and Headhunter's Hatchet and Rat Trap. He's got a lot of defensive cards, and that actually ends up being really good with Zul'jin in particular.
Yeah.
So looks like Firebat should be okay for a little bit of time. No Shimmerfly before. Oh, because he wants to use the Wing Blast.
Yep.
Okay.
And it looks like he's going to kill off lackeys here because... Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, this is going to be double High Spirit and Togwaggle value.
Yeah, that's a pretty big punish. It looks totally understandable.
Oh, he could even... Oh, never mind. Rat...
Yeah, he could actually High Spirit and Togwaggle and then Shadow Step the Lackey and like evolve it, or like maybe Shadow Step both.
I don't know if he wants to because of the possibility of Rat Trap.
Oh, right.
I don't think he wants to give a 6/6 over, but honestly, I don't know if it'd be that bad because an 8-drop will most likely contest a 6/6. It's just, does he value his life total that much? And by hitting face, he's now checked for snipe, for misdirection, explosive trap, so it's down to, and freezing. So it's pretty much down to Rat Trap and Snake Trap. So yeah, and because of that attack, he's not going to go for the any type of Shadow Step shenanigans. Ooh, Vicious Scale High, Dire Frenzy.
Yeah, it's a good way for Firebat to stay in it.
But there's just so much value picked up from Muzzy. That's the problem.
Yeah, Firebat probably thinking about how to remove the Spear of the Shark the best possible way. Muzzy still has yet to test for
It's
Snake Trap.
Yep.
Sees that it's not.
So now knows that it's Rat Trap.
Has he attacked the face yet?
Yep, he attacked the face last turn.
Okay.
And has played a minion.
Did he attack with a face with a minion?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
So no explosive trap, no misdirection, no snipe, no snake.
No freezing
No
trap.
freezing.
Undasta. Holy
Wow.
gosh. Wait. No, Spirit Shark is not a beast.
No. We've talked about this, Dan. It's a spirit.
It's a ghost. That interaction actually was challenged specifically by Ghostly Divine Shield Charger man. The Paladin 5-mana 3/4. It used to be a beast, I believe, and then they removed the tag because they said, well, it's actually a ghost, so it's not a beast. Same thing with Witchwood Grizzly. It was a ghost, but then they said it's a beast, so they colored it in to make it look like a real-life beast instead of a ghost. Do you remember this? In the Witchwood expansion?
I remember Witchwood Grizzly.
Yeah, so the Witchwood Grizzly was like, it was a beast, but it was colored as a ghost.
Ah,
Art.
I didn't know that.
And then so they made it all brown now instead of all ghostly like the Spear of the Shark.
Weird.
It was a very interesting consistency update that I feel like they read, like a couple of our people, like, they read 2 or 3 Reddit thread complaints like, Blizzard's so inconsistent. Literally unplayable, and alternate their caps as lowercase on cookies. And then they like took it like seriously, like, oh yeah, that is actually literally unplayable. So they fixed it.
That's what they think.
Firebat picks up the deadly shot, clears off one of the Undasta.
What do you call a pack of Undastas?
Undastas.
Just smart game. that's lethal.
Oh.
You can shadow step it twice.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Muzzy's gonna take game 1.
Turn 8. Wow. Udasta plus the Kobold Lackeys. He even had overkill.
I know. That's the crazy part about it.
See, he should have overkill with Undasta thematically.
Summon a beast from his hand.
Jeez.
Well, you can see why Hunter has a tough time. I mean, that's a pretty great start for Muzzy, but really the only thing that Firebat could have done differently was leave 5 damage on the board with Wing Blast and kill a Lackey.
Yeah, it was basically a decision whether or not he should take down Heistbear and Togwaggle, or stop the Togwaggle from being activated, or take 5 damage and risk taking even more if he can't remove it later on.
Yeah.
But he did have Master's Call, which means he would be able to most likely pick up the Spring Paw. I think that probably has to go back and look at the turn again and maybe reevaluate, because I can't remember exactly what was the hand texture.
Ooh. This texture of the hand, huh?
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have game 2 between Firebat and Muzzy.
My name is James Costasage. My handle is Firebat. My username is based off the StarCraft player Firebat Hero. I was a fan of him and watched him on Twitch early on in his career, and then just named myself Firebat because I thought it was cool. Something about me that people don't know, I really hate spending money. I try and save it whenever I can. I recently learned how to repair a dishwasher so that I didn't have to buy a new dishwasher. I like doing stuff like that. I get a really good sense of accomplishment and pride whenever I'm able to salvage something. My favorite Hearthstone Esports memory is winning the 2014 World Championship. That was pretty tough to beat, but I'm hoping that one day I can beat that memory. Being in Grandmasters, to me, means that I get another chance to prove myself and show that 2014 wasn't a fluke and that I am still here to play. I mean, I love playing against my own region because I get to play against a lot of my friends, which is always like really fun and entertaining, and there's so many different mind games. But at the same time, I'd really love to play against Europe and really knock them down a few pegs because they're so cocky all the time. I look forward to winning the most and losing the least. I definitely don't want to lose, and I definitely want to win, so it's really simple.
Mazahidul Islam. I go by Muzzy in game. My username, as you know, my first name is Mazahidul. It's kind of difficult to say for some people, and every time someone calls you, they're gonna have to say, "Hey, Mazahidul." That's long, and you don't want to say that. My friend gave me a nickname, like, "Hey Muzz, hey Muzzy." So I sort of just took that and, name's Muzzy. I took a look at the list of players. Some of them have been more focused on streaming, I would say, in these past few years. I've participated at the highest levels of competition that they might not have appeared in. I'm the player to beat in my group, for sure. The thing that I most look forward to about competing in Grandmasters is the thrill of the competition. It's really why I play Hearthstone. It's what I've enjoyed doing for the past 3 or 4 years, and it's what I'll continue to enjoy doing, hopefully. I think Hearthstone Instinct is definitely my greatest skill set. I think that if I took a break for a while and didn't play the game and came back to new cards, I think I could pilot a new deck fairly well, fairly quickly. People would always mention the term burnout to me. Burnout, burnout, burnout. I didn't know what it was. I would constantly play Hearthstone all the time. I definitely want to have more titles and put my name in Hearthstone history.
Firebat vs. Muzzy continues. Firebat switching to his tertiary deck, trying to see if he can take down the Rogue with his anti-aggro strategies. Muzzy on the Rogue. Doesn't really have to change too much here. I think he's got a pretty good, solid core base.
Yeah. Which has been the tradition for Rogue in Grandmasters is secondary deck is made for Warriors, tertiary deck is made for Mages. Two classes that you're going to see the most often. So, I mean, judging by how successful he was in Game 1, I don't even know.
Good.
I don't even know if Firebat's techs are going to do much of anything. He's taken out Shimmerfly, Tracking, Revenge of the Wild, and Tundra Rhino, and has added the second Headhunter's Hatchet, a Rat Trap, a Snake Trap, and the second Marked Shot. So does have a better ability to fight for early boards. But is that enough? Dan, only time will tell.
Fair enough.
Can Firebat's tertiary deck stand the test of time?
Or will Muzzy's Rogue defeat Firebat and banish him to the Shadow Realm? All this and more.
Nope.
On this episode of Hearthstone Grandmasters America.
I like where you're going, but it was a Civilization reference. Have you played Civilization?
Yes, I have.
The narrator at the beginning of when he started the game of Civilization.
These days, I mean, which
Ken?
version is this?
It's in all of them, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is it?
Or Civ 5. Civ 5.
Usually they have their advisor tell you what to do, and I just follow the advisor.
Well, no, so the narrator at the very beginning. So you pick a civilization at the very beginning, the narrator goes through like...
Oh, yeah, the history of the general you pick or whatever civilization.
Yeah, yeah. And then at the very end of the spiel, he says, "Can blah, 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 do this and this and this and stand the test of time."
Well, yeah, my favorite civilization reference was, like, story. It was a Maz. Oh god, I'm messing it up. I can't remember it.
Spit it out, Dan. Spit it out.
I don't know.
Oh man, I was so titillated. This sounds like it's gonna be a great story. It's okay.
Oh god,
I'm
choking so bad.
Try and think of it. We'll come back to it.
It goes like a Maz, Trump, Hafu, Frodan. Long ago, the four nations lived in harmony until the Forsen boys attacked. Only Reynad, master of all four Kappas, could stop him, but when they needed him the most, he vanished and made the bazaar.
Isn't that like an Avatar reference?
Yes, it is, but they translated that in Hearthstone long ago. I failed really hard, and I am willing to... I'm going to go crawl in a cave and die. See you later.
Oh no, Dan messed up a meme.
I did.
How could he do this?
It's a really old one, too. That's why I feel like it's hard to pull it out. But we're going into hour number 6 or 7 here at the America's broadcast. For people who are tuning in right now and wondering why are we not talking about Hearthstone, a little apologies. Let's check in with Firebat and Muzzy right now. So we started off with Firebat playing the Spring Paw on curve on 1, and then playing the Layer of Secrets. And this has kind of caused Muzzy to hesitate, to say the least, because if he wants to play a Van Cleef or all these other things like SI7 Agent, he has to restrict himself just a little bit because he doesn't want that 6/6 to pop out early. Yeah, and that's why Rat Trap is pretty threatening. Yeah.
So many options.
He's gonna play Open Van Cleef as a 4/4 here.
Yeah, but that also walks into the mark shot.
Yeah, but it's kind of slow play from Firebat. I guess that is pretty important in the grand scheme of things, though, because Firebat does have that late game advantage. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Another kill command or a multi-shot or another Rat Trap. I mean, there is a big block of cheese. Oh, dude, I haven't seen Rat Trap animated. That is awesome. Do you see what happened, TJ?
Wah!
It starts off like this.
They disappeared!
But the
Whoa, they're back!
The group of rats.
Look at them!
That is hilarious. The golden animation, just a bunch of rats popping their head in. Is that not awesome?
It is. That is the coolest thing I've seen in the last 2 hours.
It's very funny.
Not the greatest of hands for Muzzy, though. One thing that he does have going for him is that he has a lot of damage. Probably looking to close the game out as soon as possible. That's what his hand's telling him to do. He has 2 Waggle Picks. And Myers and Sable Element. So he can keep hitting face here.
Yeah, now that he has Sap, he does have a game plan against the Rat Trap, so he could end up going for Evil Cable Rat combos. But still, it's not like he necessarily needs the big combos to go off. He's already committed to his Edwin, so he could just play SI here and pass. 2 cards return is not that big of a limitation early on. It becomes really annoying when Rogue has more mana crystals.
Yeah, I do honestly want to see the swing with the Waggle Pick here. Just because I don't think Muzzy's going to be able to outvalue and fight for the board for too long, especially with a Snake Trap up. Honestly, wouldn't even mind like seeing... no. I like this because SI7H wanted to fight for board. You want Firebat to play reactive. And remove this one. So now Muzzy's in a situation where he needs to find 10 damage. So a Leroy pickup over the next couple turns is enough because the Waggle Pick bounce. If this SI7 agent can connect, his options are even wider because Muzzy does have double Eviscerate in the deck. So I can imagine Muzzy's gonna start hitting face more with the Waggle Pick and look for game-ending damage with Myers and Stable Element.
Yeah, Muzzy's doing a good job just playing around Firebat's secrets. Firebat's gonna stop the damage with Kill Command here. Recognizing that he's pretty much playing Spell Hunter at this point, which is defensive clears, try to survive, get good board swings, win the late game.
Ooh, Snip Snap.
Snip Snap is great. It fulfills the conditions of only playing 2 cards.
Yeah. And I think the biggest question here is, do you magnetize? And you just saw Secret Plan. So I think you want to spread these out just for the possibility of Freezing Trap being picked up. But Muzzy does not need to connect with too much more damage. That's the good part here. Ooh, this is... Can Spring Paw, Mark Shot, Explosive Trap, and clear off both these mechs and force Muzzy to attack him with attacking the Explosive Trap. Kill Command serves the same purpose, but Mark Shot lets you dig. Because that's perfect mana expenditure too. Yeah, I like the Mark Shot better.
Mark Shot into another Mark Shot. It's pretty interesting. Gives him the ability to just keep this up. And remember, it's all investments into his Zul'jin. Would it be cool if Mark Shot and cards like it had an accuracy bonus in Hearthstone? Like, if you headshot perfectly, you get like 5 damage instead of 4.
I would only like...
But like, the thing is, the cursor would randomly move, kind of like in shooters.
Yeah.
Because it adds, you know, the human fail or whatever.
Well, then I would only like that if there was also Bloom and you could miss.
Yes, more randomness.
Yeah. So yes, you get a bonus for a headshot, which is double damage.
That'd be dope.
But sometimes you're just aiming right on their head and you miss and don't get anything. Such is life. And this Secret Plan secret is pretty telegraphed.
Yeah, I think this is fairly obvious. Muzzy has narrowed it down to Snake Trap and the Rat Trap, but the Secret Plan pulling the Explosive Trap, this is pretty obvious.
Yep.
Sometimes some players make it obvious and they're bluffing, but, I mean, it would be a pretty bad bluff if that was the case.
Yeah.
Muzz has 4 damage, or sorry, 8 damage with Wacko Pick, 2 damage with the SI. If he bounces it, he gets 2 more damage. It's 12. He'd be 1 eviscerate away from killing.
Yeah. So I think you get the damage in now, because next turn you could go like Evil Cable Rat and find, I don't know, maybe you hold it. So if you hold it, next turn you can go prep SI7 agent, attack.
Oh.
SI7 agent. Snipe's really good because that shuts off the ability for Leroy. But Firebat also knows that he has a 0 mana Cable Rat in hand, so
Right, and
he's almost always going to check for that. Check with that.
It does prevent the bounce back on whatever he plays.
Yeah.
I hope you like my invention.
Ooh, Life Drinker. That's lethal.
That's lethal.
Muzzy has played around secrets the entire game, and that is going to be a Game 2 victory. Muzzy keeps his playoff chances alive, and Firebat has been officially eliminated in every possibility.
Yep. His best finish at this point is 5-9 if he went down the last week, which is nowhere close.
Yeah.
But a big win for Muzzy.
Big win for Muzz indeed, and that's going to wrap up series number 5 as Muzzy is now tied with Amnesiac at 5-7, and that does kind of sting because I believe Amnesiac beat Muzzy last week while we were gone. So Amnesiac having the head-to-head edge, Muzzy he has the least amount of chances I think out of everyone currently that's still in the running to make it.
Yeah, but I think still a possibility. I glanced at the schedule quickly. I've almost entirely forgotten. But looking at the schedule next week, it did seem like a lot of those middle players were playing against the top of the standings,
So they can make ground.
which is good, which means they can beat the top of the standings and make up ground over everybody else.
All right.
So small chances.
Let's check in with Muzzy and see how he's doing. Muzzy there?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
All right, so Muzzy, you're still in the running for playoffs. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I need to win out, go 7-7, 2-0 next week, and then have some other stuff happen, I think. But yeah, I guess I'm still in.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right, so still alive and kicking, hanging in there. Going into the series against Firebat seemed pretty straightforward. I mean, did you feel really comfortable even going into it that you'd be able to go up against him?
Yeah, yeah. So against Hunter, Rogue's a pretty hard matchup for the Hunter to deal with. So he didn't really have too many ways for him to win the game. He just basically, I just need to not draw my answers, and he needs to curve out maybe some Dire Frenzy scale hide action, but none of that happened, and I was just able to get decent hands, so I ran away with it, basically.
Gotcha. How much has the preparation been for you? Because I know that, or sorry, how hard has it been to prepare for you? Because I know some players are kind of on the fence in terms of like they feel like they're not sure where to really go. Some people are saying that they're guessing, and then some players are saying that they feel like they prepare really well and that they are able to predict the field and get an edge as a result.
Okay, so like the first few weeks of GM, I put in a lot of work. I sort of up until last week as well, I would say. I put in a lot of work. I tried to do research on my opponents, tried to make reads on them, put in the gameplay work, practice versus their decks nonstop, but it didn't result in the percentages I was hoping to gain in the league. So the matches, the outcomes that I was hoping to happen didn't happen. So this week, so that made me sort of think about the format some more. Your opponents that you're playing against each and every single week, they're going to be trying to make a read on you too, but they also have to factor in the opponents that you play against. And if they're factoring those in, then the opponents that you play against, they also might have to factor in the opponents they play against. So it's like pretty complicated in figuring out like, what decks you're going to bring each week. And I don't think anyone really wants to be targeted at all, so there's like a wide variety of options. So I feel the best way, like right now, the top 3 classes I would say are Rogue, Mage, and Warrior. So yeah, hopefully pick one of those from one of the weeks, and your opponent just doesn't have the counter. You have to hope, like, because you play against two different people each week, right? What might be good against one person, it might not be the right read against the other. So you have to balance it out. So it's really difficult to do. So this week, I just went with a comfort pick, didn't do too much research, other stuff, not too much practice. I just went with Rogue because I've played Rogue historically a lot, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. And it's one of the top 3 classes, so you can't go too wrong if you pick it, right?
Yeah, stick to your guns. That's why they call it specialists, I guess. Well, which is ultimately what they try to accomplish. Well, that was a really nice and in-depth answer, Muzzy. Thank you for giving us thoughts and your insight and taking that question very seriously.
Yeah, just letting you guys know like how I'm sort of approaching this first season of GM. Season 2, maybe there will be some new meta, new type of stuff that'll happen. So I might approach it differently, but in sort of the latter half of GM, as it's winding down, this is how my approach on it is currently.
Yeah, one more week. I mean, and then all of a sudden it's playoffs. But thanks for taking some time to chat with us, Muzz. We got to move on. But in the meantime, good luck in the final week heading into playoffs.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so.